As you dog moms know, nutrition plays a pivotal role in shaping a puppy's growth and health. Providing them with the right nutrients is, of course, essential for their development and their well-being. And joining us now is the esteemed Dr. Judy Morgan, a veterinarian with a passion for holistic pet care. Dr. Judy, let's go ahead and dive right into the nutritional needs of our adorable furry friends during their puppy stage.
Sounds like a good plan.
Where should we get started? We know that building a solid foundation is critical. So as dog moms, what are the most important things that we should be taking into consideration when we bring home a new puppy?
Well, puppies require a diet that's rich in essential nutrients to support their rapid growth and development. So puppy foods are going to be higher in protein, fat, calcium, and phosphorus than adult dog foods. And that's going to help support lean muscle and bone and joint growth and development. And we also need a higher caloric density for our puppies to ensure that they grow appropriately. So we want to make sure that we have a well-balanced diet for puppies. This is that one time when, if you are one of those dog moms who wants to make your own food for your dog, I'm all for it. But make absolutely sure that you are providing a well-balanced diet, especially for that stage, because we don't, if we're missing the growth and if we have excesses, joint problems and obesity and all kinds of issues for our puppies. So it's really important that that puppy diet is really well balanced.
Right. And it makes total sense because you should have a good grasp on nutritional needs if you're going to take that on yourself, because all fats are not created the same, right, Dr. Judy? So give me an example of how to, in a healthy way, incorporate, say, fats and protein into your puppy's meal. Can you give us an example maybe of what you would consider a well-balanced approach and meal?
Yeah, so a lot of times we think that our dogs only need a small amount of protein. And AAFCO, which is the American Association of Feed Control Officials, they set the guidelines for what our pets should eat. And for puppies, they recommend a minimum of 22% protein. But if dogs are given free choice to choose how much fat or protein they would have in their diet, they'll actually choose more like 50 to 52%. So you can have much higher protein in their diet. And as far as our fats, we want essential fatty acids. Omega-3s are really important, but they do need some omega-6s, which come from plants and plant oils, seed oils, that sort of thing. So we need to make sure that we are getting all these critical nutrients in there. And we want to be careful that we're not adding too many calories, because we don't want them to grow too fast, particularly with a large breed dog, because we will get more joint problems if we are pushing them too fast. So it's really critical to have that balance.
I love it. And so much of what we should take into consideration also applies to humans too. If we just think with logic, right? Then you want a well-balanced meal. You want to make sure that they stay trim, that they're building muscle, that we're making sure their needs are met, because we do want to make sure that we do our best to ensure that they have a long and healthy life, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Yes. Okay. Now I'm thinking about nutrition and obviously preparing meals. That's so important. But I'm also thinking about digestion. What should we be taking into consideration when it comes to like feeding a dog's microbiome and making sure that they're set up for success as they grow?
Yeah, so it's particularly for our puppies, they are going through a lot of stresses, particularly in those first few months of life. So first of all, they get weaned from mama and their litter mates, usually kind of overnight. It's like one day I'm here with my brothers and sisters and mama, and the next thing I know, I'm in a car that I've never been in. That's very stressful. I'm in a new household environment. That's very stressful. And I've got new litter mates who are much bigger than me and I don't know them. So that is a very stressful time for them because it's a fast wean. It's not like, okay, we're gradually separating. And then as puppies, usually they're making quite a few trips back and forth to the veterinarian. And when they go, that can be very stressful because they're getting poked with sharp things. And so we want to really support them because this is when their microbiome, which is their gut, the bacteria, and the good guys that live in there that are so important for a healthy immune system, they can get horribly shocked by all these things that
Yes.
are going on. And then a lot of times we're using chemicals. A lot of the puppies end up getting dewormed, or they're starting on heartworm prevention or some other sort of chemicals, which also can disrupt the microbiome. So I actually really like to start the puppies on a really good, high quality probiotic supplement, because particularly if you're bringing them home and you may want to change the diet from what the breeder was giving, you're going to need to set them up for success with that. So if possible, keep them on what they were on, even if you don't like it, at least for the first few days, so that, especially if they're eating it okay, keep them on it so that it's not a huge, that's just one less shock for right now.
Yes.
And we can get them started on that probiotic and then start gradually changing over that diet to what you want it to be. And then the other thing, I know we're talking about food more than anything else today, but I do want new puppy owners to really critically evaluate which vaccines their puppies really need. It's not a one size fits all. A small dog living in a high-rise apartment in the city has a much different lifestyle than a dog who lives on a farm and is running through the woods. So really talk to your veterinarian about your pet's lifestyle and which vaccines you can avoid, because we don't want to overwhelm them. And then also split those vaccines up. The smaller the dog, the more likely they are to have a bad reaction to a vaccination. So if you go in and they say, oh, well, look, he's going to be exposed to all these different things. We need a distemper, hepatitis, parvo, parainfluenza, kennel cough, leptospirosis, Lyme, and rabies at some point. Do not get all those in the same visit. Break it up as much as possible. There are many studies that show the more vaccines given at one time, the more likely to have an adverse reaction. And those adverse reactions can result in death. So we really want to keep our puppies safe and really support their system in a good way and not overload their system too much. And really critically important that you take a stool sample when you first get your puppy and have it checked for parasites, because we see parasites more commonly in puppies, intestinal parasites, than we do in adult dogs. So that's kind of the first order of business. And particularly if you're bringing home a new puppy and you have other dogs at home, you want to make sure that your puppy isn't bringing something that's going to cause a problem for everybody else in the house as well.
Yes. Good point. I mean, this is such valuable information. I feel like everybody needs to hear this from you, Dr. Judy. Go ahead and text your friends, get more people on this show, everybody, because Dr. Judy just has such helpful information to share. I love that about building a healthy microbiome in your dog, making sure that we space out those vaccinations, as you said, also keeping stress low, because that's going to help everything in the development of a dog. And I imagine in those early puppy stages, building a healthy bond and trust with your dog is incredibly invaluable and important as well.
Absolutely. So we want to be that nice pet parent, just like you are with your children, but you also need to be a bit of a disciplinarian and set the rules. Nothing is more frustrating for dogs than not knowing the rules. So if it's okay to sit on the sofa today, and then tomorrow they jump up on the sofa and you say, no, get off of there, they're like, why was it okay before and it's not now? And I'm really confused. So you do need to let them know what the rules of the household are in a firm but gentle and nice manner, and then be consistent with your rules. And that's going to make house training easier, leash walking easier, just everything in general. And so having those kind of set feeding times and just having a routine that they can understand. Think of them, especially as puppies, think of them as your toddler, your very young toddler, who's going to get into everything and anything. And the way that puppies test their world is through taste. So make sure that there are no dangerous things for them to taste.
Yes, that is so important. Put up those foods that are hazardous for a dog. Make sure that you have things, from a safety standpoint in check to set the dog up for success. I love that too. The healthy boundaries, minimizing stress, keeping things predictable, because at the end of the day, that makes life better and easier for everyone. So
Absolutely.
it just seems like too, Dr. Judy, a lot of people are just distracted today, right? Let's put our time, effort, and energy into the right things right out of the gate, setting those healthy habits and putting them in
Exactly.
place. That's
Exactly.
great. I'm curious, Dr. Judy, what inspired you to create the Constitution's diet? I know this doesn't necessarily apply to the puppy stage, but I imagine, you're passionate about every stage of the dog. What was it that made you say, I need to do this and I want to take this on?
Well, interestingly, I didn't have puppies for a lot of years because I was doing rescue, and usually we would gravitate toward the seniors. So when we start talking about seniors, I have lots of senior stories, but we would gravitate toward the seniors who had medical issues because as a veterinarian, it was easier for me to handle them. And 2 years ago, I don't know what happened to me, but someone asked me to take a special needs puppy, and I said, okay.
You're like, okay, with a question mark or an exclamation point?
And
Which one, Dr. Judy?
for 2 years now, I have been looking in the mirror and saying, "What possessed me?
Oh
What was
my.
I thinking?"
Right.
And to top it off, he was a COVID baby.
Oh my.
So he came to our farm. The people
Wow.
actually, the breeder actually flew him to our farm and brought
Yeah.
him. And we have a beautiful fenced area, very safe for our dogs. It's about a third of an acre where they can
Oh,
run and frolic and play, and they can get nose to nose with the farm animals, and they play with the farm cats. And so it never dawned on me that he needed to go anywhere other than the backyard. And when he was about 10 months old, we bought a new car. And I said, "Well, we'll take him with us to go pick up the new car. It'll be a fun outing." He
sure.
had he had never seen other people. He had never seen traffic. He had never been in town. He was so freaked out.
Oh
So
my.
this is why I say it is so important to,
Yes.
set the groundwork for these little guys because it's taken a long
Yes.
time. We're still working on it, and he's 2 years
Right.
old, 2.5.
Hey,
Um,
it gives you compassion, right? Now, when people come in
exactly.
with puppies, you're like, oh, I really understand what you're going through here. And your dog, my goodness, baptism by fire, right? Here are all the new things.
Every one of my animals comes to me to teach me something. But back to constitutions. I
Yeah.
have been into the TCVM, traditional Chinese veterinary medicine food therapy, for over 20 years now. And I would design diets, and I have cookbooks. I have Yin and Yang Nutrition for Dogs. It's a cookbook with a lot of recipes based on this food therapy. And I kept making new recipes for people, and then people would have to cook them. And some people just don't cook. Some people don't even know how to turn on their oven. Some people can't boil water, which blows me away. But I have discovered that over the years that people store food, or one of my office managers stored purses in her oven, and another one stored
What?
shoes in her oven. So
Shoes.
if
Oh
you don't
my.
cook, it's an empty box to put things in. So so there are a lot of people who don't cook, and don't feel comfortable designing, what they want to put in, even if they understand the food therapy parts. Like, okay, I need some asparagus to do this for the dog, or I need some celery to do this for the dog, but they
Yes.
don't feel comfortable doing it themselves. So I said, well, if I design these constitutions diets and I make sure that they're balanced so that if they pick the wrong one, it's not going to cause a problem for the dog. But for people who are really into using medicine as food, or food as medicine, this is an easy way for them to do it. It's like, well, here you get it shipped direct to your doorstep, you thaw it out, warm it up, and poof.
There you go. I know. That's great. One of my childhood pictures, you're going to laugh at this, Dr. Judy. I will say my mom does like to cook, but one of my favorite pictures is there's a cat in our oven. Her name was Cotton, our first pet. And I have the oven door open and I'm standing there like this, like, it was such a joke. But you're right. I've seen all kinds of crazy things. And it's a good point, just to be able to put our trust, if that's not our thing, cooking our own dog's food, and someone who knows all the things like you do, Dr. Judy. But speaking of that, dog moms, if you're watching, we really want to encourage you to interact with the show. Dr. Judy wants to answer your questions. So go ahead and put them in the comments section regarding the puppy stage, and we're going to try to answer as many as we can. So be sure to take advantage of having like one of the best veterinarians in the world at your disposal right now. So go ahead and send us your questions. Okay, dog moms, we would really appreciate it. We want to help you out. All right. So that being said, before we get too far ahead into debunking common myths about puppy nutrition, we do want to take a moment. Dr. Judy, we're going to check back with you in just a moment. We're going to thank our sponsors right now for coming alongside us, for helping to make this show possible. And we just want to say thank you. The Bear and the Rat, dedicated to promoting health and wellness and taking care of our canines, and their latest product here. Look at this, goat milk mighty toppers. How cute is this? You just go ahead and you thaw and you serve, and you can add vital nutrients to your dog's food. So mighty toppers by the Bear and the Rat. This is the goat milk version. Let's see. We also have here bone broth. Dogs go crazy about bone broth. So you've got these toppers to enhance your dog's food. You want to go ahead and take advantage of that and learn more about the Bear and the Rat. Also, they have these cute, oh my gosh, I can't wait to show you. These are so precious. Look at these Barley's Bakes. They are cupcake mixes for dogs. Are they not so cute? They are awesome. This one here is with bone broth. Check it out. You can go ahead and mix up all of the mix here and make some cool cupcakes for your dog. You can do it for his or her birthday, or why not just because, dog mom, because you're the best and your dog will thank you. We also have a peanut butter flavor here. So we do want to encourage you to go ahead and check out all of the Bear and the Rat's amazing products, because this is actually just the beginning. I mean, they have some really great frozen treats as well, in addition to the mighty toppers. So go ahead and check them out. Again, the Bear and the Rat. So if you're looking for a hassle-free way to enhance your furry friends' meals, check them out. Thank you, thank you, thank you to the Bear and the Rat. You are amazing. We thank you for your dedication to promoting canine health and wellness. And we are just so thrilled to have you as a sponsor of our special live event here. All right, thanks you guys. Again, the Bear and the Rat, check them out online and order some of their delicious products. Toppers, cupcakes, you name it, go do it. Thanks so much for watching this Dog Mom News clip. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to our YouTube channel for more awesome and informative Dog Mom News content. And while you're at it, ring the bell so that you can find out about more content in real time. You don't want to miss it. Thanks for watching, everyone.